Exploring the mysteries of Mars and life beyond. Insights from Thomas Mikey Jensen and hosted by Miles Johnston Bases TV.
Welcome to episode 1. My name is Miles Johnston and this is Exploring the Mysteries of Mars and Life Beyond. In this episode, Thomas Mikey Jensen explores the details of this major anomaly on Mars, photographed by NASA's own pictures, NASA's own material. Thomas explains the differences in the relative accuracies of the pictures and goes into great detail. The M18 Anomaly with Thomas Mikey Jensen.
Welcome to Exploring the Mysteries of Mars and Life Beyond. This is a brand new series that we are bringing to you in where I will go through some of the amazing satellite images from the Martian surface that are showing us potential signs of life on the planet or past civilizations. In this first episode, we will dive into the M18 Anomaly. The M18 Anomaly that we have all seen on social media. But what is it? How big is it? How old is it? When was the first picture taken and how many pictures actually exist of this anomaly? This is episode 1. You're watching it on Bases TV. This is about the M18 Anomaly on Mars.
An astroarchaeologist has uncovered what could be signs of intelligent construction on Mars. Thomas Mikey Jensen stumbled across this anomaly on the Red Planet while conducting his research back in 2014 with the Mars Orbiter camera on board the Mars Global Surveyor. At the International Disclosure Conference Bases 2025, he gave a presentation that included size estimation, understanding data, and other satellite images of the same anomaly that could prove that it was not an error or anything else. Astroarchaeologists around the world are waiting with excitement for NASA to deliver a high-rise image of the area, which unfortunately still has not been captured. But the message from Thomas Mikey Jensen is clear. There's more on Mars than we know of.
My history with this anomaly is that I had it from Brett Collins Shepard. Brett is the founder of Lunar Anomaly Research Society, and he and his wife Karen Christine Patrick has done a lot of work within lunar images and Apollo images together with Ken Johnston. That's another story. Brett sent me this picture and said that he had it from one of his members in his group, asking what he thought. So he would like to know what my opinion was with this anomaly. When I saw it the first time, I was like, wow, what on earth is that? My first reaction was getting all the way up to him and in excitement, because I was convinced that this is a UFO, this is a spaceship, this is something really unique, special that NASA has missed blurring out somehow. Well, my opinion today is a little bit different, but I still believe that this is a whoops from NASA. They forgot about this one, or they simply missed it. And that's the reason why today, so many years later, we can look at this anomaly and say, we know for a fact that this object is on the surface of Mars. So what is it we are looking at? Could it be something from an ancient civilization we are looking at? Or are there someone on Mars now? Or could it be part of a secret space program? I wanted to know more, so I contacted a good friend of mine that was at the time being working at the JPL laboratory, where they had all the satellite transmissions coming in from the Mars Global Surveyor. The Mars Global Surveyor was also the satellite who transmitted and beamed all the pictures from Opportunity and Spirit rover back to Earth for further study. I called my friend and said, have a look at this one here. What do you think of this? What could this be? And he was simply saying, oh no, don't jump on that one also. You're gonna look stupid. That's an error. There's an error on the lens. It's a mistake. We have had so many people talking about that one. Don't start talking about that, and you're just gonna make a fool out of yourself. That was his message. And I was like, everybody else? Have many people seen this anomaly and nobody is talking about it? Actually, he managed to convince me that it was a mistake. But my brain, the back of my head said, something ain't right. We gotta dive deeper into it. So I did. How can you find out if it's an error? How can you find out if NASA, are lying and saying it's a mistake? Well, there are ways, because if I can find the same anomaly in another satellite strip, then that would prove that it wasn't a mistake. But how was I gonna do that? I was brand new within the satellite research, and I knew how to handle MGS pictures from their own side. So I looked into Google Earth because I knew Google Earth has a Google Mars version. And in the Google Mars version, you can choose an overlay that shows where all the satellite strips are, both high-rise images from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and Mars Orbiter camera images from the Mars Global Surveyor Orbiter. So I did, and I found it. I found the area, and I found the M18 satellite strip, and I found 4 other satellite strips covering the same area. And guess what? The anomaly is on all the other satellite strips. The image we're looking at here is taken in 2000. This image we're looking at here is taken in 1999. So we know now that the anomaly was there already a year before the well-known and famous M18 picture was taken. To understand what we are looking at, it's important to know the size of it. And how do we work out the size of it? I'm gonna show you a picture. This is a Curiosity rover, and it's photographed by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's high-rise camera. And this is a resolution at 25 centimeters per pixel, which is the highest resolution we can get from any satellite public available to us. That's quite amazing. The picture we are looking at with the M18 anomaly is from 2002 and has a 2 meter per pixel resolution. So that's why you cannot see smaller objects like the rovers on an image from the Mars Global Surveyor's Mars Orbiter camera. That would be too small. But larger images as the M18 anomaly, that's 150 meters wide, we'll get back to the size of it, would be visible on the MGS satellite images. So to understand the size, the actual size of this M18 anomaly, I had to go into the ASU datasheet page on the internet and find all the information I needed. It tells you that the picture have a resolution at 2 meters per pixel. It also tells you that the scaled image width is 3.1 kilometers. And now you're saying that's not what it says on the picture behind you. No, you're right, because this is another disclosure. NASA have changed the actual size of it. They had made an error, a 30% error or mistake when they measured the size of it. That's what they say, because in 2015 it said that this image was 3.1 kilometers wide. Well, 2 years later they changed it to 2.9 kilometers wide. That's what their data sheet said. So I have calculated with 2.9 kilometers. The difference ain't that much. The difference came when I looked back again in 2020 and saw that now, as you can see on the same image here, they have estimated the width of this image to be only 2 kilometers wide, from 3.1 kilometer to 2 kilometers wide. That's a 30% error in size estimation. I don't believe it's possible. I think something is playing in the background. Well, I have measured it with the size saying that it's 2.9 kilometers wide, and that makes the anomaly just about 150 meters wide. I divided, as you could see, the image into 10 units. I knew that it was 2.9 kilometers wide, so I could figure out what one unit was, and then I divided the one unit into 10 units again. So I knew how many centimeters or meters one unit is. So in this way I could measure the way to the result of 100 and just about 50 meters. 150 meters wide. That makes it a huge anomaly. It's the size of 7 train carriers of the English M150 trains, or it's the size of this skyscraper. You can see here that is exactly 150 meters tall. This is a huge object we are looking at. Just compare it with the skyscraper and that little 30-meter wide house that I found a picture of from Earth, of course, but just to make a comparison with them two in this picture, that's the size, that's how big the M18 Anomaly is, and that's amazing. Now, can you see it better now what we are looking at? I don't think this is a UFO. I don't think this is a craft. It's too big. I think this is something else. I think this is a part of a constructions that go into the Martian underground. But that is just an idea or a thought. Of course, I can't prove it unless we get even better high resolution of the area. But let's have a look at the other pictures I have been talking about. I will show you a clip from the International Disclosure Conference 2025, where I present the other CTX images and Mars Orbiter Camera images of the same anomaly. I need to include this JO3 image. This is from Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, the CTX images I'm talking about. The resolution in this one is above 8 meters per pixel. So you ain't getting that clear image or picture as we see in the high resolution images. But in this case, with the JO3 picture, the CTX image, it's another confirmation of the object being there, being present on the Martian surface. We can see it's there. Not very clear, but we can see it. That's the confirmation. Now let me take you back to 2024 Basis Christmas seminar. I gave a presentation. This is the part where I talk about the M18 anomaly. So I find another satellite image from the same area, from the same satellite, taken 1 year before, and it should be just barely visible over here. That was my confirmation that the guy from JPL was full of bullshit. Sorry for saying it so straight. That was not an error. It was on the satellite image from the year before, and that was where I realized this world is full of bullshit, and you gotta sort it out yourself. So I did. I found it in another satellite image from 1999, confirming the presence of it. Here you can see it a little bit bigger. It's not as clear as the first one that was taken the year after. I know it sounds weird, but it's not as clear, but it's a confirmation. It is there. There is something on the surface of Mars in that area. So when I found it again, I started looking around again. I went to the new satellite. I want a high resolution image of the area. I want to see it in a 25 to 50 centimeter resolution. which means if it was a school bus we were looking at, you would be able to read the name on the top of the bus if they've written the name. So that's how good resolution we can get from high-rise. This is not a high-rise, this is a context image, and these are the images NASA used to make the global map of Mars with, which are very, very wide satellite images, some of them 40 kilometers wide. The resolution goes from 8 meter per pixel to about 28 sometimes. So you can't use CTX images from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter for anomaly hunting. It's never going to go good. But you can see, and I managed to enlarge it enough, that in this image from 2011, the object is still there. It's not very clear on the CTX, and it's a really, really bad resolution. This one is 6 or 8 meter per pixel, which is amazing because the one that was taken in 2000 by a satellite that was sent up 10 years before is like 4 times better quality than the new one come up with. So context camera, CTX camera, they're good for overview and for Mars, Google Mars, but they're not good for anomaly hunting. So when I see some of the more famous names talking about, for example, the face on Mars, and keep posting CTX context camera images, I'm like, fuck's sake, come on, get us some real picture. There are high-rise images of the face on Mars also, bring us some of that. So I don't like the context camera, but again, this one confirms in the third image that the anomaly is there. Oh, we got it in bigger size. I made a size estimation of the object because I knew, and there's a story to this, I knew how wide the image is. It was exactly 2.9 kilometers wide. So I could divide it in units and make units in the units and then simply measure it from the units. This object is 148 meters wide, which probably would be about 15 times the length of this room here. So this is a huge object. It's bigger than the hangars we have in the airports where you have Boeing jets. This is super, super huge. And NASA missed it. You can't deny it. It's there. If anybody don't see it there, let me know, and I'll try to point it out. So size to me is a must-know with these anomalies, because everybody can go out on satellite images and see, I see this, and there's a bus, and there's a house, and when you measure it, that bus is like 250 meters long. It's probably not a bus, you see, and this is where many, many people go wrong, and they do the same when they're looking at anomalies on curiosity, opportunity, spirit, and perseverance. They have no clue how far in the distance they are looking, but they see this and they say, see that, and I respect their beliefs, but people forget size estimation. It's the most important part of astroarchaeology research. When you find objects, you gotta know what size is it. So this is super, super huge, and it's got this round shape like the Jupiter 2 UFO that it was dubbed first when somebody caught it on the YouTube and made a lot of videos about it. I have dubbed it the M18 Anomaly. I think that's a better, proper name for it, as the picture is M18 and everybody would know what it's about. This is the first picture I processed of it. It's back in 2014, and I like it. It's not a very good resolution, this one, but again, it's so clear to see that these features up here, and people are calling them windows. No, they are not windows. This black area is 3 times bigger than this room we are in here, if not more. So this, to me, looks more like some kind of permanent construction and not, as people would say, a UFO or craft. I believe that what we're looking at here is a permanent construction to what people describe as inner Mars or inside Mars. But there is a historic, there's some history to it. We have been looking into ancient history. We have been looking at the history of Mars, the history of King Alalu being sent in exile. And I will have to get Dolly up here because Dolly is going to read a tiny little bit that I'm going to add to this anomaly before we go to the next one. And it's a chapter from Enki's 4th tablet that somehow, some way, matches it all. Dolly Indigo Star.
Limping did Anu the chariot embark. With his hands tied did Alalu the chariot enter. Then to the heavens the chariot soared up, and the royal visit had ended. They around the moon made a circuit. Anu by the sight was enchanted. Toward the red-hued Lahmu. Anu by the sight was enchanted. Toward the red-hued Lahmu they journeyed. Twice around it they circled. They lowered toward the strange planet they came. Mountains high and tears in the surface they noticed. Where E's chariot had once landed they observed. By a lakeside it was located. Slowed by Lahmu net power, the chariot to the sky chamber they readied. Anzu, its pilot, then unexpected words to Anu was saying, with Alalu, the firm soil of Lahmu, I shall descend. With the sky chamber to the chariot to return I wish not. With Alalu on the strange planet I shall stay. Until he dies, I shall protect him. When he dies, of his innards poison, as befits a king, I shall bury him. As for me, I shall have made my name. Anzu, they will say, against all odds, to a king in exile, a companion was. He saw things by others unseen. On a strange planet, he faced unknown things. Anzu, they will to the end of time say, like a hero has fallen.
Thank you. Enki's 4th tablet, I like that one. And if you look up here, it says something about the lakeside. Oh, this is lakebed. This satellite image is taken on the equatorial line of Mars, so we are on the middle of Mars. Those of you that have studied Mars and the research about water on Mars will know that the northern hemisphere was where all the land, the big land was. The equatorial line was mostly covered in oceans. So this is an area where there used to be water, and the way that they describe being along the lakes. I'm not saying that this is Alalu, but I'm saying that the history written in Enki's 4th tablet, to me, sounds very plausible when you're looking at images like this of something on the surface that ain't ours. I just think it's amazing, and I had to have that little chapter in it also.